to the Sheldon Show. So today I want to talk about two things. I want to talk about sex and I want to talk about relationships. And I want to talk about them in relation to each other. But before I get going, I want you to please subscribe. Please turn on your post notifications. Don't forget to hit the bell below. Please hit the like button as well. And also please leave your comments because I would love to hear from you. And don't forget to share the videos either. So I want to talk about sex in relationships. But before I get to that, one of the things that are always, people always talk about as being something really, really important in relationships is money, right? And that's a crucial thing in relationships. The second thing is communication. It's also something that's really important in relationships. But the thing I want to talk about today is sex, and that's also something that's very critical in relationships. As a matter of fact, a lot of people would say that they cheat because there was a lack of sex in the relationship, or there was a lack of good sex in the relationship, and that's the reason why they actually decided to cheat. So sex plays a crucial role in relationship. And a lot of that obviously can be worked out if there's good communication. So if people are talking in a relationship, then a lot of the money issues, the sexual issues or lack thereof can be discussed, and they could probably come to some kind of resolution that fits both people. But I think a lot of times people get carried away when it comes to this whole idea of sex and relationships, in that good sex doesn't necessarily mean good relationship, right? Good sex doesn't necessarily mean a good relationship. So what is good sex, you may ask? Now, a lot of you probably have your own definitions of what is good sex because people have different interests, they have different likes, they have different things that they're into. I would describe good sex as, if you're satisfied sexually with whoever it is that you're with, it's your partner, right? So your partner is sexually satisfying you, and so that's good sex. But does that mean that you're necessarily in a good relationship? Because a lot of times people, and this is from, having talked to quite a few people, right? And a lot of times, and it's common sense as well, a lot of times people are in relationships because you'll hear them say, well, the person's like really good in bed, or they're really, whatever the case is. So, and a lot of times people might have a tendency to want to linger longer in a relationship. No, when I say linger, they broke up with the person already, but somehow they kind of spontaneously find themselves getting back with the person from time to time. And a lot of the reasons is because of sex, right? That person, they have, in the world of communication, they call it eros, which is a type of love, which is a sexual type of love where you're just with someone just because of you're physically attracted to them, and sex has a huge role to play with that. So it's called eros. So it's one of those things where the person's just fascinated with you because of sex, and that's actually a relationship. There are some people who are actually in quote unquote just sexual relationships. Now, for two consenting adults, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that if these are two consenting adults that are in that type of relationship. But when there are relationships where it's toxic everywhere else in the relationship, except for the fact that the person makes you feel good for 5 or 10 minutes here and there, every now and then, every week, or whatever the case is, that's when it becomes a real problem. Because there are people in relationships like that, where someone uses sex to keep that person trapped, or to have a hold on them, because they realize just how sexually attracted that you are to them. And so the person uses sex as a weapon in the relationship to keep the person, not as a way of them connecting or growing or experiencing that type of pleasure or interaction or intimacy or whatever with each other, but they use sex as a weapon in the relationship to keep the person quote unquote under control, not necessarily as a way for them to share in the way they love each other. So you've got to be careful with that, because having good sex with someone doesn't mean you're in a good relationship for them. The fact that somebody makes you feel good for 20 minutes shouldn't mean that they should necessarily be with you for the rest of your life, because your life is bigger than sex, and it's bigger than 20 minutes or 10 minutes or however long it takes for you all to do whatever you do. That doesn't mean that you're necessarily going to be happy with that person. So you need to look at the longevity of the relationship, the totality of the relationship, to really get a really good sense of, is this person right for me? Now, it's one thing, as I said, for the person to be good in bed or whatever the case is or whatever, but does that person make you feel the same way in all other aspects of your life? So you've got to think about it. Do they talk to you bad? Do they abuse you? Do they verbally, physically, whatever, abuse you? Financially abuse you? Do they talk down to you? Do they talk to you like trash? Do they do whatever the case to you? But you feel good with them. Now, for the most part, keep in mind that sex is probably going to feel good. Maybe most times, right? Because it's just kind of one of those things. Not every time, but perhaps maybe most times. The average person is probably going to do something that's probably going to make you feel good. But does that mean that you deserve to be with that person for a moment? Now, are you going to make a lifetime decision of a relationship based on how you feel for a moment? Are you going to use a moment, right, which is what 10 minutes is, 15 minutes is, whatever time you spend with this person, are you going to use a moment to make a lifelong decision in terms of whether or not you should ultimately be with someone? So the person beats you, but they make you feel good in bed. They talk down to you, but they make you feel good in bed. They verbally, assault you, but they make you feel good in bed. They treat you as crap, but they make you feel good in bed. And the reason why they're using the sex as a weapon is because they know for that moment they mess with your mind. That's what sex does. It messes with your mind a lot, which is why a lot of times people should not rush into sex when they're trying to get to know someone, when they're trying to get into a relationship. But that's for another video. But they're using sex to mess with your mind, and then they're messing with your mind to kind of keep you pigeonholed. So it's almost like it's a form of abuse, actually, is really what it is. We talk about verbal abuse and physical abuse. There is sexual abuse, right? Not just your typical rape or whatever the case is, but not just someone raping someone or sexually assaulting someone, but doing so in a psychological way that's keeping that person trapped in a situation that they're not supposed to be in. So make sure you're not in a situation like that. Make sure you're not letting 10, 15, 20 minutes of good feeling cause you to make decisions that will hurt you for a long time. Make sure you're not letting the fact that, someone is making you feel good for 10 minutes today, and then they treat you bad for the next 10 days, but you feel good for 10 minutes today. It does not equate. It's not the same thing. So that's why I'm saying good sex does not mean good relationship, and please don't get it confused. So please leave your comments. I would love to hear from you, what you think about in terms of good sex and how does that equate to relationships. Don't forget to subscribe as well. Please turn on your post notifications, and don't forget to share the videos if you enjoy the content. And I'll see you next time. Until then, don't forget that you always, always have a choice. See you next time. Bye.